So it is Sunday, July 3rd, just before 11 o'clock in the morning, and I'm about to head out to run some errands because I leave for vacation on Tuesday, and tomorrow I have a party back in my hometown, a graduation party. So it's been a crazy, hectic time for me, as usual. I mean, really, what's new in my life? But I wanted to give my pre-publication thoughts about Love in the Red Zone. This project is unique, but which project have I put out that is not? The development of it is something that took me out of my comfort zone. It taught me a huge, valuable lesson about my writing style and my capabilities. But it's been fun. It's been absolutely fun. As you guys should know, Love in the Red Zone is a series that I'm taking on with Christina C Jones, my bae, my one and only bae. And it had taken us over a year to figure out a collaborative project. Like, we didn't know what we wanted to do. I went to her, proposed something. She was like, "Love, I don't know. That's a little bit too much for me." And she came back to me to counter it. And I was like, "I don't know, CCJ, that don't really seem like my style." And then a few months had passed, maybe about 6 months or so had passed. And she came to me and she was like, "Love, I got something. And she told me about, this football player. And, she gave me a lot more detail than I recall. But I was like, okay, but let me sit on it. Because that's what she and I do. Like, we'll sit on it first and see if we hear from the characters from the other's proposal. And then, we'll respond. So I said, well, let me sit on it. And I think I was developing Love Unaccounted at the time. And I think it was in Covenant with Ezra. So eventually I heard from Trent. His name came naturally. Did not hear from his, heroine at that point. But I went back to CCJ and I said, "Bae, I got it. I met Trent. I got him. We're good." So I kept, letting his story develop in the back of my mind. And it wasn't until January-ish of this year, I remember struggling, like saying, "Trent, I need more from her. I need more from her, your heroine." And finally, about January of this year, I started to hear from Jade. And the first scene that I wrote for this project was the excerpt that I released. A little more, I wrote that scene at the bowling alley with Stan, Zoe, Al, and Tanisha. I wrote that scene, and then the scene that comes after that. That was the very first scene that I wrote, for them. And I thought I had them at that time. But I was so excited. I remember telling CCJ, even though I had no business writing it, because I was trying to close Bonded with Ezra. But I told her, I said, "Babe, I wrote 8,000 words. And for her, as a writer, that's huge. And for her, she was able to appreciate it more because she knows that I'm a slow writer. It takes time for me to develop, a mass of words, if you will. So, I let go of them purposely, although I kept hearing from them, but I let go purposely because I really needed to get on my grind with Bonded. So, I took notes in, over the next few months. And then I really got with Bonded, because at that time I already had their ending. I just needed to write it out. So, I try to take 2 weeks after a release to get with you guys, to get a feel, read reviews, read and respond to all of your messages regarding, my projects. If you guys found anything that didn't sit well with you, that honestly was an error, not just your opinion, but a true error, I really try to address those things, right, within the first 2 weeks. But I knew I didn't have long because I knew that, they and I had decided to put this out. It's supposed to be June 1st. But I was like, I can do that. I mean, it's going to be, my books are typically anywhere from 125,000 words to 145,000 words. That's an average LB novel. That's super excessive. That is not the standard by far. The standard, I believe, is anywhere between 80 and 100,000 words, and 100,000, that end is just a bit extreme. So I go over and beyond that, and I don't apologize for it. I'm really good with it. I've accepted it, and writing Love in the Red Zone made me appreciate it even more, because she and I agreed that these will be short projects, like they'll just be short stories. And I'm like, they're not giving me a series, so yeah, I can write, Jade and Trent and 60,000 words, and then 60,000 went to 75, and then 75 went to 80. And once I knew that I could not get their story in 80, I had to apologize to my publishing partner, because we plan these things like, for fiscal reasons. And I don't typically do summer releases, and I don't typically write books in this short period of time. And also, my bae and I had already, we went through, how we were going to bring out the project and how we were going to cover it, the themes and all this other stuff. And then here I go, bragging about, I can't wait because this is not going to be, a typical LB novel. I can do this on my head. I can easily, write them and move on to my next series. So, after getting over that, because that really was a personal disappointment of mine, a professional one, I had to learn to embrace who I am. I'm just a long-winded writer. I thought I understood that, but I don't think that I'm ever going to try to attempt a short story. If that's all the characters give me, God bless them, we'll do it, but I'm not going to shorten them, because while I still don't think that Jade and Trent, I don't think... So I do. So there is more to their story, but there's no cliffhanger. I do have more material for them that I want to take on, but Christina and I agreed that if we'll do it next summer, because she and I already have a schedule of projects happening for the remainder of this year into next year. And in case you guys didn't know, I think I said it in my last pre-release video, that my team and I decided that this will be the last book that we'll publish for the year. We'll see if that holds, but because what we want to do is use this time to finish a series so we can put it out to you a lot quicker and not have months in between releases. And that's something that I agreed to. We're going to try it. So at the top of the year, we'll be hitting you back to back with releases, at minimally three. So that means once I'm done with Trent and Jade, I do have to get into my next series, which is unfortunate because they're still talking to me, but I do not close on a cliffhanger. There are CCJ actually is texting me, and so I'm like, wait, did it get cut off? But I did not close on a cliffhanger. I do give you a full story. This their book is about 135,000 words, probably about that, 135,000 words. So it is a full-length LB novel. However, I have so much to cover for these two, and I really do like them. And I was so nervous. I mean, CCJ can tell you, like the past 2 weeks while the editors held the manuscript, there really wasn't anything I can do but think and make notes about what needs to be changed, what needs to be addressed, and all this other stuff. I took a full scene out of here. It really messed me up, and this was the lesson in my writing journey. And CCJ, I get this from her. Like, every project you put out, there should be lessons of errors that you should recognize and not repeat. Well, my lesson for this is not to try to shorten my craft. I can't do abbreviated writing, and I need to embrace it. I need to be fine with that, and I am okay with that. But I thought that I could. So as a result, I was very insecure about how all of this stuff was going to come together. I don't write in sequence, and I don't think I've ever disclosed that publicly, not for any particular reason, but I realized over the last couple of months, I don't think people realize that about me. I write out of sequence. So I'm writing, usually the very ending of the book is the very last thing I write. I will say that. But everything, ahead of that is just like really out of order. So I'm always amazed with my final read as to how it all comes together. And I'm at 68% of the book now, which is why I'm trying to run my errands now. So I can get back and implement my edits and my proofreader's edits. My editor came back. One of them came back with edits, and I'm still waiting on a second editor's edits. And I have my own, so that's going to take me a few hours to implement now that I'm holding the manuscript. But I really do like Jade and Trent. I hope you do too. They're so different from me. They're young, and I swore I would never take on at least a young man. But Trent has some childhood issues that kind of makes him very singular-minded, very introverted, and those are my favorite characters. If you notice, I don't really take on very characters with big personalities that are needy, that lets everyone into their lives and their hearts. They're more singular focused, and they're more into their own heads. So Trent, being that, allowed me to pick up his voice and really intrigue me. So I'm going to end this here. I don't want to make this long because I got to upload this to YouTube, and it's really, really hard when you have such a long document. But I hope you guys like it, and I look forward to hitting publish sometime soon.